Up next, Russ and I are going to find out if physical media is alive or dead.
Spoiler alert, it's dead.
Welcome back, everyone, to 4K Kings. I am Matt.
I am Russ.
And you are here with us at our world-renowned physical media channel. Thank you for coming and stopping by, where Russ and I ramble about physical media releases, movie reviews. Sometimes we unbox some things.
And if Matt didn't sell you, I will. Subscribe now.
Sold. Today we're talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart, as well as hopefully everybody that's out there as well. How physical media is doing. How we're doing in 2023. I know the year is early, but there's some things that we can at least tell at this point, some predictions that we can make, some info that we have that'll hopefully let us know, will physical media be alive or dead by the end of the year? I think that's what we all need to know. Are we still going to have a hobby? Are we going to still have something we care about in 2024? Who knows? But come along for the ride and let's find out together.
Huh. Okay.
We've been collectors for a very long time. We've had this channel for 2 years now, and we've put a video out like this before, back in 2022, when we talked about the state of it then, and it was fairly promising from what we could gather.
Are you sure? Don't touch that. Are you telling me the truth?
Physical media, as we all know, started with DVD, and it has jumped every 10 years.
We're in the middle of one of the largest and most successful consumer electronics introductions right now with a product called DVD.
Yes, this is the new wave of the future.
So you had DVD, 10 years later, you had Blu-ray in 2006, and then in February of 2016, 4K hit the scene. So we're coming up on its 10th anniversary pretty soon. I don't know that this format's going to go beyond 4K. I think it'll be an interesting jump to see if it does and what that looks like, or who tries what with it, if anything.
I look forward to buying Evil Dead again.
Seems fairly obvious.
I've bought Evil Dead more than I've seen it.
Thanks a lot, DVD. The first question is physical media thriving or dying? And that's kind of the main thesis, the main thing that we want to kind of figure out. And I think in general, physical media is not dead, but it's settling into its final resting place. Because when you look at the new studios that are created and all the 4K that's still coming out, there's still a lot of hope. Do you not feel hopeful?
No, not at all.
What's your fucking problem, man?
It's niche.
It's niche.
It is. It's going to be like what vinyl was for years. And just like vinyl, it kind of has its little ups and downs in popularity with the normies. And then there's people like you and I who are going to continue to buy Evil Dead.
Bet you'd like that, wouldn't you?
2022, 84% of all revenue comes from streaming, 14% from physical media, and the rest is from like digital, like on-demand downloads, that kind of stuff. This is the depressing part. So 2006, the year that Blu-ray debuted, it made $17 billion. The year it debuted, it made $17 billion. And in 2021, it made less than $2 billion.
Ouch.
It's down there. It's down in the dumps. And then stuff like, like even we talked about when we were going to do the Criterion sale video, we were going to go to the store, we were going to do something. They've reduced their supply. It's behind the counter. Even Walmart, which I didn't know, but Walmart is the #1 physical retailer for physical media. They've implemented already like a 20% reduction for their electronics department.
Target's done it.
Yeah, so it's like it's dwindling the size and the spaces that they're going to even put this stuff out. Our very first time we recapped all this stuff, DVD we mentioned had the highest market share. It was the thing that people still bought the most, and it still remains to be the top because they're easier to get, easier to make, easier to distribute. They have a cheaper price going for them.
Yes, this is the new wave of the future.
In 2022, an average DVD sold for $11.15, Blu-ray for $20.29, and a 4K for $25 exactly. And some releases still only come out in DVD.
Pretty fucking great.
Who is this geared towards? You have the 4K, which is billed as like the ultimate in picture quality, the ultimate clarity, like the thing you need to strive for. If you have a Blu-ray and it comes out in 4K, you need to upgrade because that's the most vibrant, presentation possible. And that's what sort of divides the market, where you have collectors like you and I that want the best, and everybody else wants whatever they can get their hands on easiest. If it's streaming, fine. If it's DVDs, fine, because I don't care about quality. I want to own, but I'm going to pay $11 versus $25.
Over 9,000 movies to own. It's the most convenient way to watch a movie.
Theaters are hurting, and home media was sort of the biggest, post-theater moneymaker for a lot of people. And I think even, if I recall, it was almost like partly considered when they decided whether they were going to greenlight a movie or not. Like, how much money are we going to make at the theater? How much money will we make at home? Okay, all that combined, we're going to make this movie. But now they know that has completely evaporated.
The DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make.
That kind of made me think too, was like, how many times have we talked about a movie that was like, that movie bombed, but the only reason it's anything is because it thrived on home media?
Yeah, that's what they say.
You know, there are zero cult classics anymore because if a movie isn't good, it's just forgotten about forever and just evaporates into the ether of Netflix.
You're seeing a shift in the business model, period. The younger people, the majority, I'm not kidding you, don't even watch movies.
Yeah.
Why do they? What I looked for in movies and the humanity, the writing, they can go on their phones and get that in 5-minute snippets on YouTube, TikTok. They can scratch that itch quicker. They're not interested in a 2-hour format. There is no formality there's no urgency or necessity to see a feature film when not only you're being encouraged to stay on your phone, you're being encouraged to have no attention span, and the content they enjoy, they get for free. It's like you can't compete. Hollywood, you're not fucking hip anymore. Sorry, you're not. Play to your audience. It's ridiculous. Nobody's going to the theater to see Timothée Chalamet. And I get that he's popular. I get that younger people like him. They're not going to the theater to do it, though. And it's like, stop selling him to us. Sell him to the kids. And give me 80-year-old Jane Fonda at a football game. No, you know what I mean? Like
That's what I deserve.
Not that exactly, but it's just that mentality. Yeah. It's like adult entertainment for adults.
Right.
Tom Cruise proved it. He proved it. That's all you need to do, and it'll be cheaper than these big-ass tentpole blockbuster films. You don't have to rely on James Cameron every 10 years to make a fucking movie. It's not going to be a bomb-ass opening weekend, but you'll get your money back, and you'll save your industry, gain more fans, please the ones that you've been alienating for years. It's a win-win. Jim Carrey said it best, man. He said, no, we're no longer the coolest people in the room, and he's absolutely right. Acknowledge it and work with it. All right, man, I got to go.
And that's all the time we've got. That's the state of physical media, everybody. I hope you appreciated that.
Nope.
I wanted to share at least some bright spots. Not to say that what I'm about to say means that physical media is saved, but it's just that these are things that are keeping physical media alive, and it's good that they are happening. Just the studios just this year, like Disney and WB, they're having their big 100-year anniversary, and I know we've crapped on it a little bit, but at least in their press release, they even have a sliver of, and guess what, physical media fans? We're going to be releasing 20 titles and box sets and collections. It's like, they didn't give up. They didn't say we're not going to include. They did something.
Don't give Disney credit on that. Disney has no interest in preserving physical media.
They don't.
They never did even
No,
before.
they did.
In the
You're
VHS days, they always did that vault bullshit. They want to make money. They don't give a fuck, and they own everything. And they're trying to push Disney Plus. They are just participating in this while it's on its deathbed.
Wow. The boutique labels, back to the more niche thing, those are the ones that I feel like are doing the heavy lifting. You know, you have a lot of these bigger labels that are still just like pumping their movies out in single editions that are not worth anything. But the boutiques are the ones that are fully embracing, I think, 4K. And there's been a huge uptick in their output in 2022, which I also think is promising. For boutique labels in 2022, the number one was Scream Factory. In 2020, they put out one 4K release.
I was about to say.
In 2021, they put out 10 4K releases, but in 2022, they put out 38. And you know why?
Oh, I know why. Because they're not doing anything new. They're not adding anything.
Right. They're not adding anything new, but they are the leader with 38 releases, re-releases, copy-paste releases, whatever. But they are the leader. Number two is Kino. Kino only put out one 4K release in 2020. They put out 6 in 2021, and they put out 24 in 2022. So again, the uptick is interesting. Let's see what 2023 is going to be. You see, like there's just this upward progression. The next one's Vinegar Syndrome. They had 4 in 2020, they had 10 in 2021, and they had 21 in 2022.
And they're acquiring more titles that people are aware of. So they're going to grow big, I'd imagine, in this next year.
And then Criterion, who only started in 2021 November, they put 5 out that year. Then they put out 19 in 2022. So they're, again, uptick. Arrow, they put out 6 in 2020, 13 in 2021, and 15 in 2022. So they're kind of staying steady. And then on the low end is Second Sight. They put out 1 in 2020, 2 in 2021, and 3 in 2022. But in general, the trend is positive. You know, there's more that's coming out. There's more rights being acquired. There's more interest in it. I like that maybe in 2023, we'll see even more from our favorite labels and studios.
That would be nice.
Also, I mean, I'll log this under good news, even though it'll make me sound like a hater. Not that I don't see the use of streaming, and I stream things, like, so I'm not going to be like, I'm anti-streaming. I've never streamed anything, but I dislike streaming. As a collector of physical media, when it comes to like a movie I want to see, I want to go to a disc-based format for many, many different reasons. So when streaming is showing its cracks, I do secretly like that. And there's a lot of cracks that have been showing, and they're not really slowing down either. Not only our subscriber count's down, but costs are rising. I don't know how many streaming services everybody has here, but shit is going up unless you want to keep ads, which a lot of services had no ads if you paid. Now, if you pay, you get ads unless you pay more. A lot of these companies are operating at a loss because they're trying to differentiate themselves from HBO Max, wants to be different than Netflix, so they want to have their own original programming. And Amazon wants to have the most expensive television show of all time with Lord of the Rings, which apparently was just okay. But they're spending all of this money to attract people, and now they're like, but you can't share passwords, bitch. And not to mention that owning physical discs to this day, even with all these options, is still the only way to have certain things you want to watch. You're still not getting everything. You think of a movie that you, like you said, Russ,
That always happens. I'll just be like, hey, I want to watch Lethal Weapon. Something just pops into my head.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, something I can throw on in the background that I grew up on that I love. And out of all the damn services I have, Lethal Weapon would be the one where it's like, nah, you got to pay $3.99.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this shit.
Look, I hope culture changes, and I'm only speaking on America, but I can totally foresee in our lifetime where all these movies will be available, they will be edited. I want a physical, definitive movie.
Yeah, no,
that's not
yep.
going to be tinkered with every
Yep.
other year.
Yep.
And we're getting there because the technology is there.
That is one of the biggest fears, I think, for me personally, because you not only, like we mentioned before, when you have the disc, you own that forever. You don't know what's going to be removed off a streaming service. You don't know what's going to never come onto a streaming service. And some things just get canceled, they vanish, and you never will be able to get that again. You can never find it again. So it's so important just to have that. And sometimes something stupid like the music rights to and it's like will never get you on a streaming service. But when you talk about censorship, that's another thing. It's another big part of it is that Disney already does that on Disney Plus. How much more could be censored? How much more won't ever be released due to the content itself? So again, if you're someone that cares about movies at all, owning it is the only way to go. And one other avenue of this too, which is I guess more the cinephile in me, and this is the thing you have to like argue the most with people that are more heavily into streaming outside of the convenience factor, is that the quality of it is better. And you're not going to, you could have that argument all day long. Someone that's watching shit on their phone, someone that's, they don't care about quality. They just need convenience. But as the cinephile in me knows that, dude, there's stuff I've watched in allegedly 4K and it's blocky as hell because the bit rate's low. Like it is not, there are some releases that you would never see the complete quality of it unless you had the 4K disc. Like you said, the audio, you cannot have the full experience. And that's just me. I have to have, as a movie person, that's the experience I want to have.
Because it's awesome.
I think there's a couple of trends or a couple of things too that just in buying over the past year, things that we've covered, I think, whether you think these are good or bad, I think there's some things that we've noticed happening more often than not, which is just these carbon copy paste 4K, whether it's Scream does it the most, but Arrow has done it as well. And Criterion too. I mean, they just double dip their back catalog, no new art, no new features. It's just, here's the 4K disc now, which fine, that's okay. But it still feels like I would, if I'm going to rebuy this thing and literally the exact same package again, maybe throw me something a little bit new, but that happens often. Plus, as we've mentioned before too, big studios celebrating huge anniversaries by not really doing anything and doing things in the most bland way possible. And then the only other thing that I can see the direction of physical media going, and we've talked about this briefly too, is packaging being the first and foremost, ultimate seller. Like the 4K disc has been out forever, but which company is going to just put that disc in their quality packaging?
I think that's something a lot of people overlook. I think that is one key component in the success of vinyl, is because it's big. It feels like you're buying a piece of art. If I had to guess, I'd say most people who buy vinyl don't even listen to it.
Wrong.
Yeah.
They probably buy the vinyl as a set piece for their house, their living room or whatever, and then they stream it. They listen to it on Spotify. And I think that's where, when I say it's niche, I think it's going to go like that, where it's, yeah, if I want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'll just hit a button, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But I want that nice shelf, so if somebody comes in, it's
Yeah.
a part of my personality.
Yep.
You're going to look at that and be like, okay, this person's into this. It's just like wearing an Ice Cube shirt or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you're endorsing it.
Yeah.
It's you're putting your stamp. This is my personality. I think that's the direction it's going to go in, because increasingly it's irrelevant.
What I was going to say next is it's never too late to join the physical media club, even though it's irrelevant.
Wrong.
But I still think there's enough juice left in it to get excited about it, to even jump into it for the first time if you haven't yet. And I think the only other thing that I would leave maybe you with, or anybody out there, just to consider, because again, we talk about, oh, physical media is dying, or it's dead, or it's whatever, and we just kind of throw our hands up in the air and say that that's it. But I feel like as movie people, as people who have been, their lives have been changed by movies, or physical media is a huge part of what they've loved for years and years and years, I feel like it's important for us to at least try to do something to help save it. Beyond like buying the movies, if you have kids, if you've got other people in your life that maybe aren't as involved, or maybe, I know, Russ, you were saying all it is cell phones anymore, but I feel like if you start early enough, things can be possible. Personal anecdote, as you know, I shove it in my son's face all the time. Look at these special features, son. Let's watch this commentary for the 4th time.
You're going to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit and love it. We're doing our part.
Right
We
here.
have a channel.
What are
devoted
you
to
all
this.
doing out there? What are you all doing?
I tell you what they're doing. They're subscribing.
Hell yeah, subscribing.
That's how you can do your part in supporting physical media. Subscribe to us.
I don't know that physical media will ever return to any top of any charts, but if you do subscribe to us, maybe we'll be top of the charts.
That's right.